ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सुमुखश्च एकदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकः लंबोदरश्च विकटो विघ्नराजो विनायकः धूमकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षः पालचन्द्रो गजाननः वक्रतुण्डः सूर्पकर्णो हेरम्बः स्कन्दपूर्वजः शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। यस्य द्विरदवक्त्राध्या पारिषद्ध्या परस्ततं विघ्नं निघ्नन्ति सततं विश्वक्सेनं तमाश्रये। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय कृष्णाय अक्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदान्तवेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे। कृष्णद्वैपायनं व्यासं सर्वभूतहिते रतं वेदाब्जभास्करं वन्दे समाधिनिलयं मुनिं। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। धर्मः जन्माद्यस्य यतः अन्वयात् इतरतश्च अर्थेषु अभिघ्नः स्वराट्। तेने ब्रह्महृदायः आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूरयः तेजोवारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा। धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मः प्रोचितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां। वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृदि अवरुध्यते अत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिः तत्क्षणात्। निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखात् अमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिकाः भुवि भावुकाः। With Swami's grace, let us continue from where we left off in yesterday's session. We came up to slokam number 46 in adhyayam 26, skandham number 3. Bhavanam brahmanah sthanam dharanam sat visheshanam sarvasattva guna udbhedah prithvi vrittihi lakshanam. The activities of Prithvi, what are the characteristics of the activities of Prithvi was described here very beautifully. Two characteristics. One is the intimacy and immediacy, offering the intimacy and immediacy of the presence of Bhagavan in various forms and shapes. So the thing is, at the same time, while the intimacy, the immediacy is offered of Bhagavan's presence in various forms, it is also the playground of the three gunas. Okay? So both the Sarva Sattva, Guna, Udbhedaha. Now, we'll take up number 47, 48, 49 and 50 today with Bhagavan's grace. Now, here we must understand one thing. Question was brought up yesterday also. When sound was the first one that manifested, appeared from the tamasic aspect of ahamkaram. Now, the sound, the sabdam appeared. Now, there must be a sense to receive, to perceive, to cognize that sabdam. That is called the sense of hearing. Sense of hearing is different from the ear that we have. The ear, yes, ear is a tool, but beyond the ear is a srotram. Srotram means sense of hearing. Karnam means karnaha, means that is ears. So please understand the differentiation very carefully. So when we talk about the indriyangal, jnana indriyangal, okay, the tools of the senses of perception. The senses of perception are different from the tools of perception. Please understand the difference, very important difference between the two. The sense of hearing is one thing. The tool of hearing that has been given to us is our ear. So if you look at it that way, it becomes a little bit easier to understand the following two slokams. Naboho guna visheshaha arthaha yasya tat srotram uchyate. Vayoho gunavisheshaha arthaha yasya tat sparsanam uchyate viduhu. Number 47. Tat sparsana viduhu. The second uchyate is not there. That's what I was checking. So the slokam is Naboho gunavisheshaha arthaha yasya tat srotram uchyate. Vayoho gunavisheshaha arthaha yasya tat sparsanam viduhu. Now arthaha. Artha means many things in different ways. It means different things. Arthaha also means let's say yakartham. We say what is the essence of this? What is the meaning of this? What is the object of this? What is the purpose of this? So many things are included in that. So dharmartha kama moksham, that artham we normally translate it as wealth. It is not wealth. It is generating the objective of generating the resources. Wealth is one of them. Health is also equally important, isn't it? So in a dharmic way, that's the meaning on the Purusharthangal. The Purusharthangal means the objective of the life of a man. Okay, to put it in a very simple manner. So in arthaha, people mistake it to mean artha means immediately wealth. But that's not what it is. Arthaha means the object, the purpose. Okay, the prayojanam. So the naboho means from the akasam. Okay, from naboho. So naboho means in akasam. Guna visheshaha. The guna visheshaha means the special characteristic, a distinctive feature of akasam is what? In the naboho guna visheshaha, in the special characteristic that is present in akasam, yasya arthaha, that special characteristic that is present in akasam, yasya arthaha is the objective, the purpose of which one, purpose of what? So sabdam is present, and the purpose, that becomes the object of perception. The reason it is present, it has to be perceived. So that is the object of perception. So why it is present? Yasya arthaha, what is the subject matter, or whose subject matter it is? Okay, that sabdam, that srotram uchyate, that is called the sense of hearing. Uchyate, it is called. So to translate it again in English, the special characteristic of akasam, that is the for which it is the subject matter, for which it is a subject matter, yasya arthaha, for which it is a subject matter, that is called srotram. So if you reverse it, the subject matter of the sense of hearing is sabdam. You understand it now? The subject matter of srotram is sabdam. Subject matter of sense of hearing is sabdam, is sound. Okay? So this, once you understand it, the next 3-4 lines will be very easy to understand. Second line is Vayoho gunavisheshaha arthaha yasya tat sparsanam viduhu. So Vayoho gunavisheshaha, the distinctive characteristic of Vayu, which becomes the subject matter for what? That is called yasya arthaha, for whose subject matter that is the gunavishesham of Vayu is, tat sparsanam viduhu. That is, know that as sparsanam. Sparsanam means, the words are very, very important to understand. Spak means skin. Sparsanam means sense of touch. So the subject matter of the sense of touch is the Vayu's guna vishesham, which is the sparsam. Okay, so any time that I feel the sense of touch, please understand that as the presence of Vayu. Okay. Next one, 48. Tejoho gunavisheshaha arthaha yasya tat chakshuhu uchyate. So for the Agni, the subject matter of the special character of which is the subject matter of what, that is called chakshuhu, the sense of sight. That is called the sense of sight. Amboho gunavisheshaha arthaha yasya tat rasanam viduhu. The gunavisheshaha of ambasaha, the distinctive characteristic of water, is what? That becomes the subject matter of which one? That is called rasanam, the sense of taste. Bhumehe gunavisheshaha arthaha yasya saha granaha uchyate. Same way for the bhumi, the special characteristic of Prithvi, the bhumi, which is the subject matter of what? That is called yasya arthaha, for whose subject matter that is, saha, that is granaha uchyate, the sense of smell. So the sense of hearing, sense of touch, the sense of sight, sense of taste, and sense of smell. Those five are described this way. They all come from the five tanmatrayas that we saw. And the tanmatraya of that particular panchabhutangal, the natural element, is also been described, like akasam, tanmatraya sabdam. Vayu, the tanmatraya is sparsam. Like that we saw that. So let us move on to 49. Parasya drishyate dharmaha hi aparasmin samanvayat ataha visheshaha bhavanam bhumau eva upalakshyate. Now you can understand this slokam very well. After what we have gone through so far with Kapila Bhagavan's teaching, how he has taken us step by step. Parasya drishyate dharmaha hi aparasmin samanvayat ataha visheshaha bhavanam bhumau upalakshyate. Now this is something that we can relate to in our life. Okay, because this is what we normally relate to in our life, is all the gross things, right? Gross, the physical things in bhumi. Okay. So now the parasya means, see, here to understand this, we need to understand that for every cause there is an effect. And the interesting thing is, excuse me for the disturbance here for a second. Now, the interesting, once you understand the effect of something, the cause is also present in that effect, isn't it? Anything that you do, but we always look at the result. But if you look at it carefully, there is a cause for that. There is a I'm doing something, but what is the cause for me to do this? Okay, that you see from the result. So the cause is always present in the result. This is something that I hope you understand. If not, we can discuss it a little bit more detail. Now, this is where the slokam comes in. Parasya drishyate dharmaha hi aparasmin samanvayate. Now, samanvayat, let's take it later. So, parasya drishyate dharmaha aparasmin. Dharmaha hi. He means certainly aparasmin. Aparasmin means in the effect. Parasya, the cause. The dharmaha parasya. Dharmaha means the characteristics. Parasya of the cause. Drishyate is seen. In the effect, the characteristics of the cause are seen or experienced. Now, next line we continue. Based upon that, samanvayat, in the order in which these things came about. The sabdam came akasam, then came sparsam vayu, then came rupam and agni, right? And then came rasam and ambaha, the water, and then came the smell and prithvi, right? The gandham and then Prithvi. So in that order, Samanvayati, in the same order, Ataha, therefore, Visheshaha Bhavanam Bhumau Eva Upalakshyate. Visheshaha, the distinctive characteristics, Bhavanam, of all the other elements, Akasam, Vayu, Agni, and Jalam, Ambaha, all these elements, the distinctive characteristic of all these elements are present in Bhumau Eva Upalakshyate. Upalakshyate is observed, is seen in Bhumau, in Bhumi. So what does this mean? Putting it simply, that you all can relate to this very easily. Now, the Akasam, what is the cause for Akasam? We saw the cause is present in the sky, I mean the effect. Akasam came from Sabdam. So Sabdam is the cause for the Akasam. Akasam is the effect. Same way, Sparsam is the cause for Vayu. So Vayu is the effect. And same way, we see Vayu is a cause for fire, and fire is a cause. From fire came taste, and from taste came water. So water came from fire. If you look at it very carefully, so I'm repeating this again because one can get very easily confused. Then in that order, then the earth came, the Prithvi came from water. From water came the Tanmatra of Gandham. From Gandham came Prithvi. We saw that. So Prithvi, the Bhumi, came from water. So now the order is clear. Akasam, Vayu, Agnihi, Ambaha, Prithvi, or Bhumi. Remember these. So if this is the case, all the characteristics that are present in the causes, characteristics, the causes of Akasam, Vayu, Agnihi, and Jalam are all present in the effect. The final effect is Prithvi. So everything we see here in Prithvi has got the characteristics of all the five Panchabhutangal, all the five natural elements. Now, so if you make a reverse pathway and go backwards so that you can understand this very clearly, you will find that in Akasam there is only sound, only Sabdam. But if you take Vayu, there is both sound and touch are present. If you take Agni, there is sound, touch, and form are present. Now, if you take water, there is sound, touch, form, as well as taste are present. Now, for Bhumi, the earth, you got all the five: sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. So the Bhumi has got the characteristic of all the other elements included in that. So this is very important to understand that. So this has got the five qualities of all the five elements. Going backwards, water has got four qualities. The water does not have the quality of Prithvi. One step backwards, Agni. Agni has got three qualities, but does not have the qualities of water or earth. One step backwards. Backwards means I'm saying in the order it is given. Don't get me wrong. It's not like sequential. They're all simultaneous. But understanding I'm saying backwards. So if you go to next, before that is Vayu. That's got two characteristics and does not have the quality and the characteristics of Agni or Jalam or Bhumi. Then Akasam has got one quality. So this is to be clearly understood. Okay. So here, when it says Ataha Visheshaka Bhavanam Bhumo Yeva Upalakshyate, Vishesha Bhavanam, all the special characteristics of the various causes are observed in Bhumi. Okay. Number 50. Etan asamhatya yada mahadadini saptavai Kala Karma Guna Upedaha Jagadadi Upavisat. Now, to understand this particular slokam, let me, with Bhagavan's grace, it occurred to point a simple example to you. Because our mind can play tricks, our intelligence wants to understand how creation is, how things started being active, which is impossible to understand, beyond understanding. Okay? As you all know the story of how Sivadarman himself takes a lesson from his son Muruga on the meaning of Omkaram, right? Pranava Mantram. That's basically, he explains to him how creation came about. So that's something that I definitely cannot understand, and I'm not even trying to understand it. To me, that is not that important. What is important is to live in the present moment. Then you will find creation stops. Okay? But since we're going through this teaching, the example is that occurred to me to share with you. You go to the bathroom, there's a mirror there, you look at yourself in the mirror. What do you see? You see an image of yourself. You have projected yourself on the mirror. Now, does the projection take place in sequences or is it instantaneous? Think. So, when you stand in front of the mirror and you move your hand, the image also moves. Right? If you smile, it also smiles. So, what does this mean? That means you are present in the image, not in sequence. If this Panchabhutangal did not come from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and all that in some kind of a sequential order. And this sloka we are going to see here the Vishnu aspect, Visvam Vishnuhu. Vishnuhu means indweller. The sloka is going to say Bhagavan entered all these various causes that are causes for creation. So it does not mean the causes were without him before he came. So I want you to understand this whole thing is nothing but a projection of divinity. So there is no time lapsed on this. And the mirror is our mind, which is nothing but a bundle of desires. If my desire becomes zero, creation stops. It's as simple as that. So, this slokam let us take it up in the remaining time. Etan asamhatya yada magadadini saptavai kalakarma guna upedaha jagadadi upavisate. Jagadadi, Bhagavan, Jagat Adi, he is Adi Purushan, Parabrahman, Paramatma, Vaikunthanathan, whatever name you want to call it. Okay, the one entity that is there, which is Prema, right? And it's even beyond that. You cannot capture it in words. And Upavisate means that Mahadadi, that Bhagavan entered. What did he enter? Okay, the Upavisate means to enter. Entering means something that you're outside somewhere and you're entering into something. So it's not the correct translation. Upavisate means Upa-avisate. So maybe a better way to do that is he was already stationed. He's already placed himself in that, already present in that. Okay? He's already present in that. So this is the Vishnu aspect. Visvam, Vishnuhu. So please understand the Visvam, the universe, was not created first without Bhagavan and then Bhagavan entered it. It is not like that at all. It is like the way my image shows up in the mirror, instantaneous. I project myself, Bhagavan projected himself the same way on the mirror of our mind, and that is, so he is present in the image. Okay? But the way we understand this slokam, the word used is upavisate. So that means he entered. And so I wanted to be careful in understanding the verb that is used. Is upavisate means already present. It is not separate from him. Bhagavan divinity. Magadadi, the Parama Purushan, Param Brahman, was already present. Where is he present? Okay, that is what we're going to see. So we saw the various causes, right? The causes for creation, and then the effect has to take place, correct? We saw all that, and then further effects are going to take place. Etan asamhatya. Etan, these. What are these? These 5 natural elements we call the Panchabhutangal, right? These for Panchabhutangal that we saw. The problem was Akasam, Vayu, Agni, Jalam and Prithvi, all of them there. In any material we see all the 5%, but they were all separate. There is no binding. So together they have to work. Asamhatya. They were not together. They were unmixed. They were not mixed together. This is where the understanding is very deficient. We cannot understand it. It's all instantaneous. Okay? Asamhatya. Yada, when Mahadadini, Mahat Adini, Mahat Tattvam and the following, the things that followed it. Mahat Adini means the Mahat Tattva. And what came with the Mahat Tattvam? Ahamkaram came. Right? And then from the Ahamkaram, we also saw the 5 elements, natural elements came. We saw that in detail. So in repeating, Mahat Adini means Mahat Tattvam. From Mahat Tattvam came the Ahamkaram, and from the Ahamkaram came for the tamasic aspect of the Ahamkaram came the Panchabhutangal. Though this is important. So now that makes it 5 plus 2, 7. Okay, that Saptavai, these 7. Okay, now why? Means certainly, in fact, Kala, Karma, Guna, Upedaha. Upedaha means accompanied by Kalam, Karma, the impulse to act, and Gunam, which is Prakriti. Right? The 3 gunas. Accompanied by Prakriti, Kalam and time, and the impulse for action. What happened? Jagatadi, the Parabrahman, Saptavai, in these 7 things, Upavisat, he entered. That is, entered is the way in English it is translated. But again, I caution that is not, entering is not what it is. Bhagavan, indweller, he was present in these, along with Kalam, Karmam, and the Gunangal. Bhagavan is present in the 7 aspects, which includes Mahat Tattvam, Ahamkaram, and the Panchabhutangal. Because the Panchabhutangal by themselves are, so to speak, lifeless. So Bhagavan is the active element that is there, that is already present in creation. The same way I am present in the image, in my image on the mirror. Isn't it? Etan asamhatya yada magadadini saptavai kala karma guna upedaha jagadadi upavisat. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavanto. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavanto. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Santit Santit Santi. Harihi Om.